Thank you, whoever said that. So Lancaster City is among many cities in the southern Pennsylvania region with a high concentration of Latinx folks. In Lancaster City alone, nearly 40% of the population identifies as Latinx. And due to our long and deep history here in Lancaster, going back as far as the late 1800s, we've been able to create amazing and radical spaces for cultural self-actualization, such as the Spanish American Civic Association and the Latino Empowerment Project. My name is Salina Almanzar, and I'm a Puerto Rican and Dominican artist, educator, and scholar. And I'm deeply passionate about sharing the creativity and the history of the Latinx community here in Lancaster City. I did not mean to do anything with the volume, but at the core, I'm just a kid from the Southeast. Growing up, Growing up, I knew my community was creative and resilient and had a wealth of history to share. And we often practiced this on neighbors' porches over a cafecito con pan planchado, salsa and merengue played in the background while the soft clink of dominoes kept time. We talked about our days, remembered where we came from, and imagined where we wanted to be in the future. Unfortunately, however, my community lacks spaces where we're able to recreate these sacred moments on neighbors' porches on a regular basis. Studies show that communities that live less than 10 minutes away from third spaces, like libraries, parks, or cafes, are more connected as a community and are less isolated than those that might live more than 10 minutes away. However, our local Latinx programs are forced to be nomadic, so we're often operating out of boxes or borrowing spaces wherever we can. Studies also show that, historically marginalized communities like the Latinx community need and benefit from permanent brick and mortar spaces that allow us to practice cultural preservation and belonging. Cafes can serve as these kinds of spaces, and despite the wild popularity of cafes here in Lancaster City, the majority of them are located in the downtown business district and the north end of the city. There are currently no cafes in the south end of the city where the majority of the Latinx community lives. I believe my community deserves a space that serves our coffee and celebrates our culture our way. At Café Pa'lante, we focus on traditional Caribbean and Latin American methods of brewing, alongside books by Black and Brown authors and curated arts and culture programming, all to create an empowered community, a truly empowered community. And I'm eager to get started, and I think you guys are too, because we frankly can't wait any longer. These are just 4 of over 50 and growing results from a public community survey asking the Latinx community to consider what they would want to see in a Latinx cafe and cultural center. The passion, the drive, and the vision is totally there. We just need the space. So our startup costs are right around $30,000, and we've successfully raised half of our $6,000 goal towards that would cover the first 3 months of rent at this location here at Plaza Centro on South Duke Street. We're working through Thank you. We're working through a lease with Saka Development, and we chose this location strategically because it's where I grew up and it's where the Latinx community really finds home. This is an example of a day-to-day menu, and I'm really leaning into my childhood here, working for my parents at Central Market all through middle school and high school. So we were among the first families to actually own and operate a Latinx food stand at the market. And this is an example of the arts and culture workshops that we would offer about 3 to 4 times a month in order to highlight the wide variety and breadth of arts and culture within the Latinx diaspora. Our overhead costs, or our monthly costs, are just under $6,000, and due to our variety of revenue streams, there are several ways that we can break even. So we can focus on cafecitos and sell 3,000 coffees per month, or focus on workshops and have 280 workshop attendees per month and break even, or make 600 sales of meals per month and break even. And as easy as that looks on paper, and as eager as I am to get started, I understand that this can be a challenging process. So I'm focusing on the first 3 years of slow growth, really starting small, myself and 1 other employee in year 1, and hopefully we'll be able to open doors in about 9 months. And really trying to figure out our place in the community, grow deeper roots in the community, and figure out what needs we can actually serve. By year 3, I hope to work towards actually having B Corp certification so that my books and my business practice really match my values. Pa'lante is a phrase that I chose for this cafe because it's a phrase that I live and work by. It's a shortening of the term sigue para adelante, which means to keep going or to keep moving forward. And it's deeply ingrained in the Latinx diaspora, but specifically within the Puerto Rican community. It's a phrase that I know my ancestors used to remind themselves of their resilience in spite of whatever might have come their way. And it's a phrase I hope that Café Pa'lante is able to truly embody so that it can be a brave and safe space for the Latinx community to be as big, bold, and beautiful and belong just as we are. Porque seguimos pa'lante, nunca para atrás.